and welcome everyone to this outreach program conducted by the New York State Higher Education Services Corporation, which is the state's college financial aid agency. We administer the tuition assistance program, or better known as TAP, as well as many other programs that are aimed to help students have access and pay for post-secondary education. So thank you for joining us tonight. And tonight we're going to talk about, or we will be discussing, alternative to traditional four-year college. College is often held up as one of the true paths to a successful career. And parents particularly might worry when their children are thinking about exploring alternative or other pathways such as trade, vocational, and other such as apprenticeship, and also obtaining a degree in a community college. But we know that attending a traditional four-year college after high school isn't right for everyone, and that's okay. There are many other options for students looking to take a less traditional approach to continue their education and to find a sustainable, well-paying job. And tonight, we're so excited to welcome a wonderful panel of experts from around the state who will help us better understand or be more informed about some of those alternative programs. And now I'm going to ask our panel member to introduce themselves and their organization. And I would like to ask Ken to be the first one.
Yeah, hi, my name's Kent Chase. I'm the welding professor over at Hudson Valley Community College.
Wonderful. We can follow with Jeannie.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeannie Bryant. I am in charge of actually 3 programs over at Erie Community College. We're in Williamsville, New York. I am going to talk about 2 of my programs: Biotechnological Science, Community Public Health Worker Certificate, but we also have a full biotech program. Glad to be here tonight. Thank you.
Wonderful. And lastly, Kimberly.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Kendall. I'm the Associate Dean at Lehman College, the only four-year public university in the Bronx. However, today I will be talking on behalf of the CUNY and the SUNY public universities and our certificate programs. You may know us for our degrees, but we also have a lot of certificate programs that are non-degree programs that I'll be speaking about tonight.
Wonderful. Thank you all for being here. And we will start off with some questions for each of our panelists. And if anyone in the audience have any question, at the end of the panel discussion, we will definitely review them. So if you can just write them on the Q&A session, and we will definitely get back to it. But I would like to ask the first question to Ken. Can you start sharing with us information about the welding program? After students complete the program, do you guys help students with job placement? And what would you say is the average starting salary for a welder?
Okay, well, this is a brand new program that we just started this year at Hudson Valley Community College. It is a 2-year associate's degree, 64 credit course for welding. As far as the prospects for welders right now, by 2024, they're predicting 314,000 open positions in the United States. Right now there's about 750,000 welders in America, with over 160,000 of them approaching retirement age. So welding in demand is just growing exponentially. Salaries, depending on how many certs and quals that you have, their average is about 45,000, but they can go anywhere from 41,000 to about $89,000 a year.
And how long does the program last?
Well, ours is a 2-year program at the
Yeah.
community college, yes. So,
Wonderful.
and right now, Albany, New York is getting a new wind farm manufacturer, Marmon, and literally upon graduation hired the whole class.
Wonderful.
So,
Wonderful to hear. So there's
uh,
a lot of future in that field.
yeah, very much so. I'm constantly getting calls. Right now, my students have a choice between probably 3 or 4 different jobs if they want to pursue it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And the next question is going to be directed towards Kimberly. Can you tell us about some of the programs you oversee at Lehman College that lead directly into jobs? What are some of the job training that you provide? You know, what will be the cost of those program? And also, do you assist in placement after they complete those programs? And who do you serve?
Excellent. So we have many different certificate programs at Lehman College, but also know wherever you are in the state, there is a local CUNY or SUNY that usually has the same certificate. There are two major pathways. The number one employer in the Bronx is healthcare. So a lot of students choose to do a healthcare certificate program. What's nice about healthcare, and I also will talk about IT, is that you can do a short-term certificate program, go directly into employment, get valuable education, but more importantly, when you're working for a large healthcare organization, often they will pay for you to go back to school. So many of my students that know that they want to be a nurse or a doctor long-term may choose a short-term training like certified nursing assistant in order to get a good job that will help pay them to go back to school to get their degree. So just because you choose a certificate now doesn't mean you can't choose a degree later on. When you're looking at healthcare, an important question to ask yourself is, do you want hands-on clinical healthcare? If so, certified nursing assistant is a great way to get started. The training is short. It's usually less than a year. It's usually about 6 months long. It's affordable. Certified nursing assistant usually runs around, at Lehman, it's $1,300. There may be some variation in your local. And then in terms of employment, there's a desperate need for frontline healthcare workers. And the jobs usually start at $15 an hour, but they come with full benefits, including education benefits, which a lot of students really benefit from. If you like healthcare, but maybe you don't want to be actually touching patients or providing direct contact, we also have patient care coordinator. This is great for people who are graduating from high school and maybe want to do healthcare administration. This particular position is really designed to get students ready to work in healthcare organizations, but more in a nonprofit social services kind of setting. The average pay is usually $26 per hour or $54,000 a year. There's a lot of room for advancement once you get these well-paying positions. And again, you can do this training in less than 6 months, and the total cost to a student is $1,000. So for a very affordable price, it can get you directly into a career path. Know that those happen to be 2 healthcare certifications that I chose to highlight because they only require a high school diploma or equivalency. And like I said, they're short-term, very affordable, direct lines to employment. We do have a lot of students who are interested in technology and IT, but again, don't know where to get started. We usually recommend, if you have an interest in IT, the A+ computer technician program is really a great base for students. Once you do the A+ certificate program, you usually can get a job for a help desk. Any organization, including Lehman College, has a help desk. And so once you get that good paying position at a university or a company, you can often get tuition assistance to get your IT degree or get additional certificates to help you move on the ladder. But this is a really great entry point that only requires a high school diploma or high school equivalency. Similar to other programs, this training runs $1,300 and can be completed in 6 months. So just know that your local SUNY or CUNY probably has these same certificates, CompTIA, Certified Nursing Assistant, patient care coordination. They're usually delivered through for at Lehman, it's the School for Continuing and Professional Studies or Continuing Education departments. And know that these short-term certificates lead directly into employment, but more importantly, with stable employment, you can often get the money and the resources you need to pursue a degree later on. Did I answer all your questions, Maria?
Yes, you did. Thank you so much. And I just want to I didn't realize that Lehman was the only school in the Bronx that with a 4-year degree. So that's awesome.
Yeah. People often think of SUNY and CUNY as only the 4-year, but every SUNY and CUNY that I know of has a continuing ed that has these types of short-term certificate programs.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for all that information. And now my next question is going to be for Jeannie. And New York is fortunate to have many community college and organizations that can help with job training, and that can lead to a very good job. Can you tell us about what you do and the job training that you guys provide, and who do you serve as well?
Okay, we have our programs as far as training. A lot of our programs are hands-on. So not only do you get the academic side of our degrees, but a lot of them are hands-on technologies. So there's a lot of scientific techniques. For example, in our biotech program, so we have that equipment, we have the analyzers. We're working on getting more internships, things like that. I don't know if that answers the question exactly.
No, please give us an overview of those programs that because I think they're so not rare, but I think that a lot of students might be interested in the health field that are probably not aware of the program that your college offers. So if you can give us just an overview of that, that will be great.
Okay, you want me to, it's okay to share my screen?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Because I know that you were going to share some information.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Okay. So I prepared a little bit. I prepared a PowerPoint. I thought I would go through just so I don't forget anything.
That would be great.
Okay. Today I said I'm in charge of a few more programs, but I'd like to talk about our Biotechnological Science program and Community Public Health Worker Certificate. The Biotech program is actually it can be done as a certificate in 2 semesters, or it can go on and be done as a 4-year degree. And what I tell my students, and I have it right up here in my PowerPoint, the certificates are great, but always this degree can quite often, give them more money, more skills. So depending on what it is, you can go either way. You can get a certificate and get started. You can, move up the ladder a little bit faster, I guess, if you have the degree. Our biotech program is not a traditional biotech program, let's say working with cell cultures. It's a very unique program in that you can work with medical devices. We have several in our Western New York area. We have a couple of people in Grand Island, New York companies that do like make injectable medication. We've had students do quality control in their laboratories. Our program is a science program and emphasizing quality, the techniques of quality. As I said, we have pharmaceuticals. We also have a food technology side of it. It's not cooking or preparing food. As you know, a lot of food processes are science, the fermentation, even making like active yogurt cultures. We have a ice cream manufacturer here, and they do their own live yogurt cultures right on the production floor. So there's a lot of things involved in it. It's just a science in its own. About $22 an hour is an average salary for quality control. One of my students just graduated a couple years ago, started no experience. He's working for one of our chocolatiers out here, and now he's the supervisor of the lab. In just a couple years, he moved up, doing very well.
Great.
So, whoop, I went all the way back. Sorry about that. So here's some of the things here. Looking at my screen, you can see a microscope in the corner. That's some of the tools of our trade. We have on the bottom is some pipettes. They're measuring devices that measure very small amounts that need to be done accurately. In the middle, you can see like sauerkraut, which is a fermented food. At the top, that is actually a separation technique, like to separate proteins. Sometimes you have a mixture and you need to isolate these proteins. And then there's some of the different, some machines that you might use to accomplish some of these. So here's some of the things that besides what you can do, besides the quality control, working in microbiology. We've heard a lot about microbiology with COVID. There's a lot of different things that you can do there, even customer service. So like a tech support, regulatory, all that stuff, enforcing the laws, engineering, chemistry. So a lot of things. And where it says manufacturing and production, that's not working so much on a line. You might make biological products like medias for things that could, that we could grow like a bacterial organism in. So here's some of our, I don't know if I should be having these up here, but these are some of the manufacturers in Western New York. And some of you being from New York State might recognize some of these people, especially the food people at the bottom. All right, I'd like to talk for a moment. I don't want to take too much time, but talk a little bit about our community health worker. We call community public health worker certificate. It is a one-year certificate, about $30,000 a year to start. It is the bottom rung in the ladder. It may be an entry-level position, very important. The community health worker does a lot of things here. Another frontline worker. We say it connects the community with the actual community, the public, with the healthcare system. They could do a lot of different things. I always reach out to my bilingual students because our city of Buffalo has a lot of different, it's such an amazingly diverse area where we can have students. I always say, imagine you don't know where you are. You wake up, all these bright lights, you're in the emergency room. You don't speak English. You don't know where you are. That's where our community public health worker can come in and assist that person through insurance. They can teach, different things like some different healthcare teaching. So a lot of different things. They're employed in hospitals, kind of pretty much anywhere, even childcare settings. And then here's some of our 10 roles that they can do. Very important, again, an entry level position, but very important. And just a quick thing about my programs that I mentioned tonight, they are affiliated with four-year institutions. So this community public health worker, they can go on to our University of Buffalo and Lehman College and continue on and get their four-year degree, or go higher, getting master's degrees. And the Biotech Program, we're also affiliated with Buffalo State College and the University of Buffalo. So the credits will transfer, which is a good thing to know.
Yes, it is. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And now I have a question that I would like each panelist to take turn in answering. There is often a stigma associated with choosing vocational or trade school, and even attending a community college over a traditional four-year institution. Some people say that it's reserved for students who cannot make it in real school, which can lead parents and students to steer away from this program. Can you tell us how can we help students to explore different post-secondary pathway without being singled out as a second class? And what resources are available for the student to explore and prepare in deciding those alternative paths from away from the traditional pathway? And also, is there like any support system in place to empower students who are seen as inferior for pursuing a trade or a certificate program? And anybody can jump in.
So I can start. I think what we find is students are most successful when they know why they're in school. So most students are coming straight out of high school, which is mandated. And sometimes they have to study subjects they're not so interested in. And we find that students really succeed in certificate programs or targeted workforce programs because they are learning things that they absolutely need in the job. There's no fluff, right? If you only have 200 hours of CNA training, every single minute is what you need for the job. And we find that there are students that want that kind of focus. I think we do find that at SUNY and CUNYs, there is a high dropout rate because students go to the university and they don't know why they're getting a degree or how they're going to use the degree. So I tell people it's not enough to know that you want a degree, but you also have to know that it's the right time. The majority of people at SUNY and CUNY are not 18 years old and straight out of high school. The average age is more like in their 20s or 30s. So just because you're not getting a degree now doesn't mean you're not going to get a degree. But sometimes choosing an alternative pathway is a in-between step. We live in a lifelong learning where you're not going to get a degree and be done. You're going to need certificates later. You're going to need to continually go back to school and educate yourself. So whether you get a degree first or some other training first, just know that the world is changing so much, you are going to have to be a lifelong learner. And a certificate or a short-term workforce training just might be an alternative pathway, but it doesn't mean you're not going to end up in the same place.
Wonderful. Anybody else would like to address that question?
Yes, Maria, I would. I'm going to kind of veer off. Kimberly said a lot of great things, but the one thing that I think that we can offer is a lot more personal attention that I find that we have the intro courses. I have students that can't decide. With our smaller size classes, I always tell the students I can throw all the papers up in the air and all the programs. I teach in 3 programs. I know everybody. And I see them. I cry when they graduate because we get to know each other really well. Our cohorts get to know, the students get to know each other. They study together, they have Facebook groups together. So I think that's another important piece, besides just knowing, because, and we have the same thing at SUNY Erie. We have a few high school students, that population is dwindling, but we still have our high school students. So we have students in their 20s. I've had students in their 50s and 60s do my programs. So the lifelong learning that Kimberly had mentioned, definitely is there, but I think that's one of the things that we can offer, is that we're there. I had a student say to me today, I don't have anybody to talk to, and I've been helping her. And it just makes me feel good that we have that rapport with our students. So I think that's an important piece to help them to kind of see all the pieces and to kind of guide them into seeing what they really want to do.
Wonderful. And I think that, you know, in any area of life, when you have that support and that personal interaction with people, you are going to function at a higher level because you're going to feel that support. So thank you for sharing that. And I know that with you, Jeannie, you were even talking about your lunch hour today, that is always pushed back, you know, to help that student that is seeking your attention. So, you know, I think it is so important. And with that, I don't know if Ken would like to add anything to that question.
There, I finally got it unmuted. Yeah, I have both students that are looking for just certificates and or a degree. And I also have one who's a retired state trooper who's in his 60s, just wanted to learn how to weld.
Wow.
So I got a whole vast field of interest, and some people want to do it for arts and crafts, and some people want to learn how to be welders. And then I got all the union halls saying we'll take them all your welders too, because the steam fitters, the pipe fitters, and the steel workers and the boiler makers, everybody's just looking for crafts people. You know, they're just, everybody's hurting for uh, apprentices and employment right now. So the
Wow.
employment opportunities are just great.
Yes, it's amazing, right? How within this pandemic, we have like so many demand for the health, for so many field out there. And I think that's why it's important that we are doing panels like this, so that our students know that there's different pathway and that they can have a really great career that going to like support them financially and very well. And that they, if they decide later on, that they can continue and get the degree that they were probably not able to get initially. And with that, continuing with the stigma, what would you say to those students who may be apprehensive about applying to a community college?
I think the the low cost of going to a community college, and then for the actual high return rate now is they're doing good. I mean, a lot of my students are getting job offers right now that are paying more than an engineer would get with a 4-year degree.
Oh.
The union halls are paying $44.50 an hour right now. So that's
and know that from a 4-year degree perspective at Lehman College, 60% of our students transfer in from a community college. So just because you start at a community college doesn't mean you still have to close the door on a 4-year degree. Many students do it for economic reasons or just personal reasons, but know that, you know, with your degree, you can either go straight into the workforce from a community college, or you can go to a 4-year. So we love our community college partners, and we are ready for students when they're ready for us.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So should we move to the next question? I don't know if Jeannie wanted to add anything to that question. If not, we can
No, I
proceed.
think I'm okay. Go ahead.
Wonderful. So how can we work to change how people view vocational and technical education? What can educators do to help change this perception, and what might be some of the barrier that student might have in obtaining like a good paying job as a skilled worker?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of branding in colleges. And what people need to remember is once you start working, usually people don't ask honestly where you got your degree. A degree is just a path to help you advance and get to the next level. But you really have to know what you're doing or why you're there to be successful. So I really caution students from picking a school because it's a brand without really knowing what is the job they want to do and how will that university or that program really help them get there. And if you don't know what you want to do, like work, just try things out. The most important thing in workforce education is, do you want to stand in front of a computer or do you want to stand on your feet all day? Like, these are really important decisions about the job. So people get very caught up in the school and the education, and they don't kind of see through that education is only useful if it helps you get into your feet in the door in an industry or job that will make you happy long term.
I agree. Anybody else?
Maria, I wanted to add to that I was thinking as Kimberly was talking about kind of trying things out. With my programs, when you get your degree, you could actually work for a little while and then go on and continue your degree. So you're actually doing kind of what she was saying. You got your 2-year degree, you can try it out before you go in and finish it up, or you can even save money or whatever, in between. So, you don't have to continuously go and sometimes it's even the better way to go. I didn't talk about my clinical lab program, but we have a clinical laboratory technician, which is a very high in demand program. They get their 2-year degree from us. They sit for their board exam, get New York State license. They can work as a 2-year tech. Then our program fully goes on to University of Buffalo, and they can go 2 more years and they get 2 degrees in 4 years. They'll sit for that licensure exam and get paid for that. So that's a different pathway you can take. And I've had students do the same thing, work for a little while and then go back. And the student that I had that I'm thinking of was a solid A student. So there's a lot of different things. I just thought I would add that as a little bit of a side trip to it. So the community college, I mean, what I did in my life, I wish I would have known about SUNY Erie. I went to a different one, and it's just, I love it. I've been there for 10 years, seen a lot of students, a lot of successful students. So it definitely, and my own daughter's a graduate of our college, has a job in occupational therapy. I have another daughter coming. She's going to do the same thing. She's going to do her prereqs with us starting in the fall for pharmacy. So she's going to take that. So definitely a path, and I can speak for it. I wouldn't be here talking if I didn't believe it myself, and my own children are doing it. So, and very successfully. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I think when we add that personal touch, it's important because I think, that's the way that we're going to change people perception about programs such as this. And also when we see student going through those programs and also being financially stable and probably pursuing other degree after that. So I think it's so important to add those examples, because I think we need to change that perception that that a 2-year degree or a trade or vocational pathway is not as good as a 4-year degree. And I think with all of you guys have really done a good job in talking about your program and how they can really assist in creating a very solid future for students who don't see the 4-year degree path as what they want to pursue. And I don't know if Ken would like to add anything to that question, but if he doesn't, we can continue to the next. So let me know, Ken.
No, that's okay. There's a lot of jobs out there that need to be filled that just don't require degrees. And then there's like I was just saying earlier, all the union halls are looking for people as well. They're just looking for, motivated individuals. They'll train you and pay you at the same time. So I mean, there's a lot of options out there for people that the door's there. You just got to go through it.
Yeah, Ken, and that will be great. I think we were trying to get a union person to be part of this panel. So if we can get contact information so that when we do another panel such as this one, we can definitely bring one of those representative from union so that they can also share their the program and how they can assist in training students. Okay. And then I'm going to move on to the next question. And it's basically asking you guys, do you guys have any final advice that can help students and parents better understand that there are different pathways to a successful future? And I think we have discussed this topic. So if anybody would like to add anything to it, I would appreciate that.
I would say if you are interested, use your network to find someone working in the field. Training is training, but the job is the job. So if you have a friend or a family member or a neighbor that works in welding and you're interested in welding, go there just for the day. I really, some people invest a lot of time in education and then they get to the end and they figure out they don't like drawing blood. Like you really, by doing a certificate program, it's usually less than $1,000. It gets you employment that you can do while you're in school. And more importantly, it gives you the experience, because I know personally, I have had jobs where it took me a day or two to realize this was not the right environment. And you want to know that before you go through a master's degree or a PhD program and then decide you don't like working in that environment. So I encourage parents to find opportunities for their young people, even if it's just shadowing. It doesn't have to be a formal internship, but explore the different places you can work, and that can give you a hint if that's someplace that you're going to be happy long term.
Wonderful. Anybody else?
I just wanted to add to, I usually, when students call me prospectively, I always invite them to come in and, even see what we have to offer. If I have a lab, I always say, come in. And I have had students and parents come in and observe us. If there's tours available, I don't know if anybody's still in high school looking for fall, but we bring a lot of our high schoolers in. A lot of them come in, and I actually have them come in and my students work with them. We had a group in a couple months ago, and my students, my clinical lab students, actually showed them how to make dilutions and measure things and weigh things. It was really nice. So sometimes too, when you visit and talk to the students, I was hoping to bring students tonight, but my one student something was wrong with the computer, so she was unable to attend. But that sometimes will you'll go there, you'll see them, you'll meet them, and then you'll know that that's the right school for you too, if you're trying to select a school. So sometimes that might be it. And then as Kimberly said, you want to definitely explore, and don't be afraid when you're maybe trying the introductory course and say, ooh, this really isn't what I want. And it's okay to explore till you find what you want to do. And this is the opportunity. We have so many things on the different areas to explore on the 2-year college level.
That is so true. Anything else that you guys would like to add? If not, then we can see. I see that there's a question, I believe. Ken, if you want to add anything, otherwise, let me.
Yeah, we have we do some community outreach stuff, and I actually have a couple of virtual reality welders that I can take to local high schools and give them a little exposure to welding in a safe, clean, and actually pretty cool because they got the VR glasses and all that stuff. So, and machines like that have actually helped with the welding programs by developing the motor skills required for welding by buying a speed of 26%, and people are 40% more likely to pass a certification qual by learning on these VR machines first. So the technology and the neat stuff is out there, and we've been taking it out to high schoolers just to show them some of the new stuff that's out.
That sounds really interesting, and it will probably be great, for students to see it hands-on.
Actually, I had the Secretary of Energy and Senator Kirsten Gillibrand and State Assemblyman Paul Tonko in my lab for last Friday.
Oh, wonderful.
So they were all trying the new VR machines. So it was pretty neat.
Wonderful. So I saw a question and I think Kimberly answered it. So I don't see it anymore, but if anybody in the audience has question, general question or a question to our panelists, please type in on the Q&A so that
what the question that was asked was, are these programs available for adults? Absolutely. It has been amazing to me to see the number of mother, daughter, father, son teams that go through certificate programs. Certificate programs are available for all stages. And I think, Jeannie had talked about, we can have students that are 60s that are like doing this as a career change, and we have students that are 17 and just starting out. So it's really about what's right for you at what time. So I do encourage you, both as the parent as well as the student, it's never too late to do a career change. And all these opportunities are available to a wide range of adults with a wide range of backgrounds.
Yeah, that was a very interesting question, but I don't see any more questions. So if we don't have any question, if you guys don't have anything else to add, I think we have reached the end of our panel discussion. So I don't see anything coming up. So I just want to thank you all for joining us tonight and, get all this interested information about how it is important to really explore different pathways that are available to you without feeling that you are inferior because you are searching for a certificate or a trade or vocational program. So we are recording this discussion, so it's probably will be posted on our website. So please feel free to share this information with others. I know that we had a low turnout tonight, but I'm sure that it was because we also had a financial aid presentation earlier. So hopefully people didn't get confused, and I see that there's 2 questions. Okay, somebody's thanking us. And also, how do you search for certificate program for 17-year-old?
So when you're looking for certificate programs, it's usually best to start with certain institutions. So obviously, the nice thing about a SUNY or a CUNY college is your public dollars are already supporting that institution. So that may be a place to start, but usually they're located under continuing ed or the School for Continuing and Professional Studies. That's usually the words that they use for the certificate program. You can also check your local unions, your BOCES, or just do an internet search. But I usually tell people that, your local CUNY or SUNY probably has certificate programs, but they're not always called certificate programs. Sometimes they're called continuing education or continuing studies. And then there's usually a listing of short-term certificate programs there.
Wonderful. Anyone else would like to add anything, or I think it was very clear.
Someone had asked if there were any programs in electrical. Absolutely, especially at the community colleges, electrical, machinists, mechanics. We work with Bronx Community College. They have a great auto mechanic program. So know that, again, unions have it. Nonprofits have it, like BOCES or unions, and community colleges are other places to start.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. And I think we don't see any more questions. So the only thing that I can tell you is that I think everybody provided their contact information that you can definitely, if you're interested in the program that we're discussed tonight, you can reach out to them. And I think I created a slide with some information. Let me see if I can share my screen so that I can share that with you guys, and I don't see it. But if you guys don't mind, yeah, I see that people are already, panelists are already putting their information in the chat room. So if you guys can, take that information and definitely explore, if this is a program that you guys would like to learn more about, or if you guys want to really pursue a similar program to the one that they discussed here tonight. And I think with that, I'm going to end the presentation. Jeannie, Kimberly, and Ken, thank you so much. I know that it was a lot of work to put it together, but you guys came through for us, and I just appreciate all the information that you guys provided tonight. And I just hope that we can continue working together to provide all this great information to high school students.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you, and great. Everyone have good luck. Remember, you're never too late to keep studying. So find the right program for you, and then make sure it's the right time.
Yes, thank you.
Good job.